Hi everyone. I wanted to make this video about the probing changes a long time ago, but other things always have come in between, and I've also been a bit in denial about the changes actually happening or being forced upon us, or at least being good enough that there would be no need to make this video. But surprisingly, when I logged into the launcher last week, I saw like, whoa, the old probe windows and star map are being rolled out, so it won't be available. And again, there was so much to do that I couldn't make this video. Now it's just like 1 hour left to the server shutdown, so I'm really pressed to get some old footage for comparison. Yeah, so this video is just gonna be totally uncoordinated. I hope it's gonna make sense to most people, or they can follow it easily and doesn't become just like a jumbled up rant or something. So what I wanted to say first is like also talk about game design in general a bit. I might expand on this in some other video about different features, but it's like I always have to ask myself the question, or the developers, or whoever is doing it, like, if you change a feature, first of all, does it have to be changed? Or if you change it, what needs to be changed, and what are the costs of changing it? And because I always feel like a lot of changes happening to the cost of effectiveness, and this is something I can never really agree with. If you lose effectiveness, especially for features that need to be effective, that don't care about visuals or anything else, that it doesn't matter if letters are 1,000 years old, or you just have modern looking letters. The letter, you use it, it's about the function. If you're blurring letters and expanding the design of letters until the letters become so unrecognizable and jumbled up that it becomes hard to read, that becomes it stops fluidity, then it's a bad change. So if the graphics look outdated but they're very effective, I don't care about the look. I don't care. It's about functionality. And this is what gets lost a lot of times when people associate design with some visual effects, because design actually means is a mechanic of problem solving. It has nothing to do with any art form in that sense. It has to do with a problem and the method being developed to solve that problem. So you have to establish first, is there a problem at all, or are you just creating an artificial problem, like you're just designing for the design's sake? So this is what I am fighting a lot of times. I'm working in product development myself, and I'm fighting with people who call themselves designers because they think it's a label or something, but they have nothing to do with problem solving. I mean, a problem can be anything. A problem can be like, how do I market this? How do I make this attractive? That is the problem to be solved, and then that's what I'm designing. Actually, I design a label, I design a look or something. So, but if you go for features like this, the probing or the usage of the star map is like, okay, is there a problem? What is the problem I want to solve? So, and in my opinion, there have been only very few problems, and these could have been easily solved without changing too much and losing effectiveness. But of course, this is just my perspective, because I've been talking to people, and other people say like, doesn't really bother me, I don't see a problem in this. But I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know what you call it, OCD on this, or just like it annoys me. As soon as I realize that something happened to a detriment, I get annoyed, and I won't just gloss over and get used to it, which is always like the last evasive argument that developers using is like, oh, when people get used to it, it will be fine. People will forget about it. It's like, no. I haven't forgotten about a lot of the changes that have happened in the last years that are still annoying me every time I use it. And I will get into this, like I said, into another video, where, for instance, the info panel, it's just like, it's annoying me, the crap out of me, that things have been changed which were effective and are just now disturbing all the time, or at least me, because I notice it. That's the thing, I notice it, and then it becomes disturbing, because it could be better. So just having a quick look at the old probing window, for instance, is like just when I look at the basic layout here. For me personally, I think this is a good overview. I can see directly, you know, with the full color bar, like this is what is meant, you know, this is what is underlined with the color. I can see the color and the stage of it. I have an arrow. I don't have any information that I don't need. I have the range, I have the code, I have the name of it, I have the warp to error percentage. That's fine. There's nothing needed. There's nothing to be fixed. It's good. It's readable. It has good contrast. That's fine. Just with a glance, I can see the bars directly. I don't have to, you know. It's fine for me. Also, like the presets that I have. They show up here. You activate it, deactivate it, whatever you want to have. You have the analyze and everything is in a row. It's kind of in the center here where everything happens. I have the watch list, for instance, here. The inventory is here. You have the fleet window here. You have the what's called broadcast history, and everything is down here in the corner. For me, that's how I order it. People have it on the left. People have it on the top. You know, that's where you can manage it. So that's, you have the possibility, of course. Then I have the drones here, which I use a lot, and everything is like happening where I actually need to use the mouse in the center here, which means that on the probe scanner I have the analyzer here and all these options. This is fine. This didn't need to be changed. This is effective. This is usable. People have gotten used to it. If you watch other videos, I think it's what is it? Johnny Pugh, for instance, he was talking about this too. When he uses it, that he's happy with the analyzer button being here, and I don't need a launch button. You can launch from here. You use an F key. You don't need the launch button here. So this is good. So, and another thing, that if I just hit F10, for instance, that's why I have the key. I'm on the system map. This is all I need to see. I don't need any more information. So if I mouse over, this is all fine. I can get the info that I need. I disagree with how quick it appears because it disturbs me. I'd rather have a delay here, but sadly this is tied with all the mouse over speed. So if I change this, then this speed will also be changed, and I can't have this. I can't. These things can't be too slow. So I think we should have, for instance, what should have been changed is like multiple mouse over speeds. So you have like one for the probe window, you have one for the UI, you have one for infos, and so you can say like, I don't want the general info pop-ups, so they can be really slow, but I want fast UI pop-ups, and I want very delayed, like 1 second or 1.5 second delay on these, because you can see later on when I'm just gonna launch my probes here, pinpoint formation, I'll drag it to the size that I want to, and when I, for instance, like want to adjust here, now I get instantly, when I want to hit the arrow, I get the mouse over for the planets, and this is annoying. So this should not happen. So there should be a delay, for instance. This should be a fix that I say like, okay, this should be changed. The same is like when you hit the arrow in the middle by accident, that should have been removed, which it has been, which is, I think it's a great change. So I'm totally agreeing with this one. That was a necessary change. This arrow should have disappeared a long time ago. And also like like I said, the delay should be here. So those would be two changes I would totally agree with, and I don't think anybody would really like oppose this and we're like, no, I like this. I don't think so. So we click on this. It's very mild, the visuals. Here we have a relic site. Let's get a bit closer like this. Let's let's drag the bubble smaller. Just a tiny bit. Where's the other one? The red one's over there. Okay. It's only I can't really see it because this is in the way. I don't know why this is why I see these labels while not being here. So this should have been fixed, for instance. It's very easy to click the analyze button. So there we go, 95% relic site. and I'm getting into why I'm doing this in a moment, because I want to actually warp to it, to talk about one thing that happens here and why I'm using this map in this fashion, which is important to me. Oh, what? No, 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 not the composite. It changed here. This one, yes. So when was the other one? Oh, that was here. Dragging it to bigger and analyze. So what I like about this window, for instance, is if I'm running multiple instances or run about on my smaller rig, I have a lot of issues with environmental effects, even though I have a lot of graphic effects disabled. You know, still want to make some videos in between, so I only have like the most annoying ones disabled. But that when this window is up, it replaces, and that's an internal thing. You can see when I mouse over here to the left, there's nothing. There's this is the full screen underneath. It replaces the normal visuals of the background, which means when I hack, for instance, these containers, I won't have any graphic interference in performance from the elements being displayed, or for instance the nebulas and other lighting effects. It all disappears, which means that when I actually hack, this hack is very quickly. I can click through this without having any delay here, which is not the case. I don't want this. I'm not sure there are many effects here, but which is, for instance, not the case if I have this open. I'll use the micro optor here, because now all the particles. I mean, yeah, okay, there's a station, but that doesn't really have a nebula or something, so the impact might not be as much. But it's already delay in loading the grid. There is a tiny delay here, but there are not many particle effects. And when I'm in NorthSec, for instance, I have a big grid, and there are nebulas and many other things. This is creeping down to like 1, 2, 3. So I'm sometimes clicking on things or things appearing when I'm already 3 nodes ahead, and then they just open up behind me. And I'm just like, what is going on? And this is happening when I'm in the normal view. This does not happen in this view, because it replaces it. You have like a small loading moment between. This doesn't happen. It's a performance issue. So I would always want to have this replacing the other view. I wouldn't want this windowed in my normal field. Just due to performance. I can still manage everything. I can't drag into space, for instance, from here, but I can still right-click launch. I can still fight and do all the things I need to do in this window here. I can still right-click orbit. I can't manually fly, of course. But usually when you're doing this, you're not manually navigating anyway. Let's just hack this till we finish. I can't leave stuff unfinished. I always have to do it, even if it's in the video. There was nothing in here. There was just 1 carbon. Okay, so I guess this has been hacked before, and somebody else just left the 1 carbon. Okay, it's not a problem. So so this is basically it. I mean, it's nice and easy. You click on the bubble, you drag it, you're done. You move it. This arrow should have disappeared. You double click, you move. You can slide, rotate. This is all very fine. It's very neutral in the view. Nothing is disturbing too much visually. You can have this in the background when you're hacking because it's very mild. It doesn't steal your focus. So I believe that except for the arrow and the mouse over, nothing at all needed to be changed to make this keep the effectiveness and make it even a bit more functional. Nothing should have been changed in this case. So and nothing more than this. So I have another one open. Let's just switch to the other screen for a second. So in comparison, now I have to remember which it was. So when I hit this, I already, just at a quick glance in the lower right corner, just without, you know, taking your view to the off the center, I cannot distinguish which green line is for what, because it's no longer a full bar. The icon in the front, not needed at all, because actually I can read. It says combat here. So I really dislike all this the new modern hieroglyphs of emojis, of extra icons and all this stuff, where people just like, oh, we just make a new icon. Oh, people will get used to it. Hieroglyphs, and it only seem cool to us because they have, you know, like a mystical aspect. If this would be our language, and we have thousands upon thousands of signs created, you know, as language or substituting normal letters, it would be confusing. It would be horrendous. But now it has this fashion sense and mystical element to it. Like, whoa, let's make icons for everything. Let's use emojis. The new language. It's rubbish. So don't just make new icons for you know. This is like, again, creating a problem to fix a problem. Don't. Just leave it. And so this is what I don't like. This should be a full bar, so I immediately know which one it is. Which one is green. I don't. Is it above the line? Is it below the line? Is it between the line? If there's a green line missing in between, what is it? Give me a full line. A full colored background. That's what needed. So here we have all these extra signs showing planets. Okay, maybe. I still would want the delay here, of course. Now the red orbs are too faint. I'm using the probe window to probe. I don't use it for anything else. So why can't I really see the red balls here, or spheres? I have to draw my shades close to be able to see this really on screen. So these are way too faint. But okay, let's get ahead and just launch the probes. So we launched the probes, and they seem a bit bright to me in comparison. But okay. Now I want to click on the pinpoint, and it's not here. Why is it not here? It's on the bottom down here. And what happened now? You can't see it. My Windows toolbar scrolled up. So I can't click on it. Now I have to wait until it disappeared. There we go. So now I rotate in. I want to click on the... I cannot drag the ball closer. Why can't I drag the ball closer? So I have to use the Alt key now. So I need to take an extra step to drag the spheres closer, bigger or smaller. Why the extra step? With an extra step, it became less effective. That's bad design. Somebody thought like maybe, I have these cones for the directions and everything. You click on it, you drag on it. It worked before. Maybe this is supposed to be beginner friendly, so like I can immediately understand it. But you will get used to this, like after the first time. Just clicking on the sphere and dragging it. Why can't I drag the sphere anymore? I have to press I can't here. I have to find one of them and drag them bigger. Why is this? This is horrible design. And these cones look like 1980s first 3D models. Like, woo, look at the amazing technology we have. This is ridiculous. Sorry, really. This is. Yeah. Why do I censor myself? This is shit. So this is already an issue. The arrow in the center disappeared. Great, excellent. That was the change that was needed. The mouse over of these elements, it seems a bit delayed. For instance, now here, that's great. See, now I'm over the arrow, and I can't see the system behind it, which is next to it, which is great, because then I don't lose the focus on what I actually want to do. I want to drag it. Same thing here. That's excellent. That was a good change. So these two changes are actually in, but nothing else was needed. Nothing else was needed. This little symbol here for the planet number, okay, fine, have it. But the rest was not needed. Now I want to click Analyze. Oh, look at this. My clock came up with the toolbar. I can't click on Analyze. Why is the Analyze button in the lower right corner? And if you say like, oh, people usually have it here, sure. But if I don't want to have it here, if I want to have it here, like I have all my setups, even if this is the basic setup and the Analyze button is in the lower right corner, why isn't there an option icon here where it says mirror buttons, where these appear in the top and those appear in the bottom, so I can actually use it in the lower hemisphere here? But the Analyze button does not, because a lot of people are playing windowed. When I run 4 instances, I have them in Windows. So this is and this has been complained about a lot of times. Why, if it rolls out today, why has this not been changed? This is horrible design. This is a creation of a problem. This is not a solving of a problem. This is failed design, actually, in that sense. So, and recover the active probes, why is the recover and why are not with the other functions? Actually, if I go back to my, so just see if I can do this actually. Into my old, somehow I can open the old one, but sometimes I can't. Yeah, I don't know. So by activating this one, I actually lost all my presets for the classic one. So in the classic probe scanner window, my presets have all been deleted just by activating the new one. So thank you for that. Seemingly there was no importing the presets or the filters. So you will have to do that all again, and because usually, you know, the things that I already deactivated should have disappeared. And so, and also, like, why is everything activated here in the beginning? And what I hate most of all is like drop-down windows that disappear when the mouse is no longer over it. As long as I'm here, I go to this. Why do I have to go to filter it again? Why does it close? Why does it close on its own? So the same thing is like if I want to close the window. I can only, with Alt-S, open and close the probe scanner window, but not the whole window. Why do I have to click the X on the top? And the nice old one here, which works with F10. And it's loading in between, which means I have no lag. When I use the new one, you can see when I move to the sidebar that space and all the elements displayed in space are still there, which means I do have the lag from all the visual graphics, which I can't see at the moment, but which are still processed. So there again we have a performance issue with the new probing window, because it's just the window. It's just the window is just full screen. It does not replace your normal screen. So this is another big issue, a big detriment, where the game is lagging while you're hacking, while you're in the probing window and flying around in space. And this being windowed on the side, for instance, let's say like this, makes no real sense to me, because if I probe, I want to focus on probing. I'm not going to fly around. If I'm flying around, and it moves, for instance, all my UI to underneath other windows which I have preset. Of course, I can't click. I of course use the F keys, but I couldn't click on it if I wanted to. This again makes no sense. I would have to pre-adjust all of the rest of my windows, all my overviews and everything, just in case I want to open this on the left side, the right side or something. Or floating. Floating is, yeah. Floating is like this. I could move it somewhere, which is probably what they thought would be used mostly. I think there are some options to set this, this to floating. So these would be options, but still, because I use the probing window to not have the load of the rest of the screen. Of course there are some people who have to fly manual on the side while probing. Well, I think it's a rare occasion, because usually when you do this, you are cloaked, or you should be. And if you're in high sec, you don't really have to worry about it. You just warp somewhere, or you just have the micro warp drive running into one direction and start probing without cloaking. You know, you will notice early enough if somebody's going out to catch you. But these things are just like, they're unacceptable to me. For the purposes, you know, of probing effectively, fast, really fast, and stepping, you know, not having these extra steps here, not having a clear visual here, having this toolbar came up again. So and these things, why are they not in the same line? Why don't we have shortcuts for this yet? You know, for the analyze, the same goes for some you know, in other cases like drones, where you can't, you know, single use drones command keys. Always the whole drone squad will move or perform the action, not single drones. So yeah, the same goes for these. If you have markers or something, if you open the menu, why does the menu not stay? Why do I always have to go back up to this thing? Why can't I have this free floating menu somewhere here on the side, for instance, like I had with the other star map? Why do I always have to go up to the drop-down menu? Oh, I missed it. Where was it? Gonna move here quickly, or just gonna drag this? I have to go up again. Why is the menu not freely movable, where I can actually use it? Why is everything now locked somewhere in a fixed? This is bad functionality again. I mean, basically this is the filter, but yeah. Please, this needs to be fixed. This needs to be adjusted, and it's just like, it's always what I said in the beginning. The why. Why did you change this? What was the problem? Did you really recognize what the problem was? I can't even see the red spheres here. I see the red axis, but I really have trouble seeing the red spheres to adjust actually the size, which I can't now because, you know, I use my hand for other things too when I play multi accounts. I have two mice on the table here. I can't just always move over and just like, oh, I just need to press the Alt key now to move this. Why is this not free moving? Why is this not free moving with just the mouse? It was easy before. It's the same thing when they started changing things for like Excel or like Word in Windows. For all the commands, you only had to hit Control and the key, and then they changed it to like you had to hit Control Alt and the key, then you had to hit Control Shift and the key. They made the most simple functions more complicated for no reason at all, just so they changed something. So again, this is like almost ending up like a rant. But like I said, the two changes, the mouse over, the missing arrow, good. The rest, why did you change it? It's bad. Again, couldn't open it. Why can't I close the window? I have to use that key. Okay. So let's go back to the star map, for instance. This is the menu I'm talking about. So when you have the star map, for instance, again, it loads. You don't have the load of anything behind it. There's no space involved. It's very easy to use. Here you have the drop-down menu. You can have these menus open. Let's go for statistics, the one I usually use most of it. So here you click, you have a look, you move, you zoom in, you focus on something, you double click, you check the next one here. Nah, this was not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see this one. Very functional. Okay, let's go for the new one. Was it Control F10? Yeah. So, yeah. So the visual alone, because of the rings around it, it seems to me like I need glasses. This is blurred. Like I'm looking through some what is it called? Some stained glass or something, where like I can't really see sharp anything. The old map was also blurred, but because it didn't have a ring, the blurs blended into each other and just it became a nice colorful painting. With this, it almost appears to me like I need to wear glasses. This is I mean, if you have one or two circles, it's fine, but not if you have many. And then where's the menu? Where's my menu bar? Or window? There's none. So instead of having it here or here, where it is effective to me, adjustable, you know, options, you know, customizable, what the game should be or what it usually is. It's now fixed on the top here. Okay, so let's have a look at. Okay, so there's already too much text because it skips a line, and when I move beside it, it closes. What the fuck? It closes. So I just want to look at ships destroyed in the last 24 hours. Okay, I want to check, but no, I wanted to check the last hour. Where's my menu? Why has this closed? Now I have to look again in the last hour here. It's no easy finding because there's no lines anymore really. I can't really see it. I have to close the blinds to see the little dots here. This is again. It is bad. Oh, okay, and I even clicked recent. So why is there recent in combination with this and in a slide? If you want to go fast through something and you were like, oh, I missed the scroll bar, I missed the click, security status. Okay, so now I want to see security status here. How many clicks per hour? The menu is gone again. Why is this not a free floating menu? This again. I don't care about the nice visual dots and everything, and then if the text is a bit more, and it's lagging. This is lagging because space is still behind. It is less effective as the old one. Especially the missing free floating menu. This is less effective. This change should have never happened. This map should have never been rolled out. And you can scroll all the way in. Why? Why? Why do I need this free floating or zoom? If I had the menu, it's a mouse click to change from planetary to star map, or from system view to star view. So, or just an F10, Very easy. Here I have to what do I need now? Alt F10? No, or wasn't it? Control F10. Okay, but it's still space. Control F10. He's loading it, but it's just too much in one thing. Because you have dual functionality. You have two functions in one thing, and each suffers. And it's lagging. It's lagging again just by scrolling. And I haven't even And here it's like this pale line. I have to have my hand over the screen so the light doesn't shine on it. So now I can see the distinction between recent and the normal scroll, the normal drop-down menu, in the same. So ships destroyed in the last hour. So this is. I know people disagree with this. People say like, oh, this is fine. Oh, this is amazing. I like the change. This is so nice. Looks so nice. Yeah, but it's not about the looks. If you have functions, function is important. It comes first. There's nothing else that comes with it. How nice is this car looking? Oh, it doesn't have wheels. Well, who cares about the functionality? The car looks nice. It's amazing design. It's great. I love it. The colors. It's so beautiful. I can't drive it, okay, but who cares? Really, I'm so disappointing, and this is gonna disappear today. Today, this is gonna get patched out. It's gonna die away. People will forget, and this is what the most, the criticism that I have. That we're losing effectiveness, we're losing equality, and people think by getting used to it that the lesser quality is the new standard. New players come in, think like, oh, this is it, this is the standard, and then things change and like, oh, so this is now better or this is now worse. But the new standard is less good than the previous one. And this happens with all kinds of things. If we look about production industry and the things that people perceive as standard and the crap they get a lot of times, which does not hold up to a good real standard, a decent standard that has been, developed. For instance, like I can talk about this like in a different thing. People here, when they've been building houses, have been buying windows and doors from abroad, and I know for a fact that those windows and doors were not allowed to be sold in the country they were being built in, because the standard and the norms were differently for the local market than for export. They could get away with it. But because people here in this country are just buying the crap from other countries, the people who are owning the houses or who buying the houses think this is the standard. They're getting shitty products, but because it is so general and commonly, and people got used to it, developers, they are getting used to shitty standards, and it gets worse every time. I had customers that I was working for who got doors which didn't close. I'm sorry, if you have a plate on a hinge that goes just through a hole and doesn't stop in between, that's no door. Yeah, that's no door. You didn't get what you paid for, what you ordered. But the distributor said like, oh, we're gonna give you some Aufschluss or some you get something off, and then you can hire a local carpenter to fix it for you, and this is okay. Like, no, you take it back and you give me the door I bought. But people are getting used to it. People get complacent, like, yeah, okay, and people are actually happy if they just get what they're supposed to get. No extra service or like extra effort. It's just like what they get used to. They have to be thankful and like, wow, this is amazing that I got actually what I wanted. Because they're already expecting to get shit. So this is really getting into rant, but this is really annoying me because this is a, how do you say, it's a sickness of modern society, where business comes first and everybody else gets screwed. Somebody has a great idea and the idea is being pushed no matter if it is actually good or great. It's just being sold as good. And this is what I hate about certain things. I mean, I love EVE Online, don't get me wrong. This is not like I'm not hating on the game. But this is just like, I want changes to be positive. I want changes to be good. I just don't want changes just for change's sake. Or just because somebody cried or somebody thinks that I have a great idea. And then there's no real criticism. Like, yeah, no, maybe not. Yeah, because we have so gotten used to being nice to each other and saying yes all the time, that it's really difficult for people to actually say no. And like, no, that's not a good change. No, you're not a unicorn. No, you don't have an animal spirit. People need to be told, no, this is not how it is, this is bad. And I think that it's time, well, it's not time, but that at least I, for myself, have to say like, no, this is not a good change. No, the old map and the old probe launcher or probe window should stay. Yes, you can make the two changes that are actually needed because they improve functionality and have no extra cost on anything. But the new stuff, sorry, is not good. And the same, I already wrote about this, I might have made a video actually, I can't remember, it's the same with the info window. The old info windows were much more effective than the new ones. They were just plain better. There's just no, let's have a look at this. Show info. There we go. The old one had, for instance, red X's and yellow dots. Yellow dots when you haven't trained up the skill fully, but you already had it injected or partially trained. X when you didn't have the skill at all. Now there's just a blue line and everything is blue. At a quick glance, you just skip through it. You don't see the warning because there's no red, there's no signal color involved anymore. And you get these bars instead of numbers. The same goes for fitting. Why do I have to count 1, 2, 3, 4 or mouse over and look at, I can't even point my finger, you can't see it. I have to move to the 4 to read it. I can't even point to it because it's already disappearing again. Why doesn't it say 4? Where is the number 4? The Arabian letter or a sign for number 4. Why does it have 4 dots? This is ridiculous. The same was here. The resistances were all underneath each other. Now they're in one line. This is something I kind of gotten used to it. It was still a bad change or like less effective change. And when I open a window, a new window, for instance, before the change, the slider here was at the same place when I opened a different window, or when I went backward or forward when I was checking, for instance, I can't see a different thing here. Strategist doesn't have a different model. The slider now always resets to the top again when I open a new one or go between next and previous. So I could compare it when I wanted to compare warp speed, because I'm not always fully opening it, or the list might be too long. Then always reset to the top every time I go from previous to or next. I always have to take the slider and go down again. Before that, it was always at the same spot where you actually looked at the last time. So it remembered it, at least as long as an info window was open. If you, of course, closed it and opened a new one, that's different. It gets rebooted, it's fine. But as long as you're going between windows, or you have comparable windows open with shift click, it still was on the same spot. It's no longer is. It became less effective. Why? Why? I think it wasn't even a feature. I think it was just forgotten. And when mentioned, like, it was glossed over. Like, yeah, okay, it got lost. Who cares? I did. I still do. It's been, I think, like 2.5 years ago. Same with masteries. Masteries are just like, who needs the masteries? It's ridiculous. And so, yeah. Because I'm using the info windows a lot to navigate for information, and also the market. Because you get all the information really quickly. But nowadays, when you usually go over, for instance, like skills, this video is getting way too long. But let's say here was an info click. Now I have to right click. It's an extra step again, less effective. When I moused over here, it showed me the traits of the ship. I can no longer see it. I have to take an extra step to click that info, go to the traits to see the traits. If I wanted to see the traits of the Argos now, where I could just mouse over, I have to go back and I have to open the info for the Argos. That's like 4 steps. There's no quick comparison anymore like it was here. Here I just get text now. I no longer have the traits, which are important. Who is reading this? Nobody reads this text. Because if you want actually the text information of the Argos, which is like the last thing you want from a ship, because you want the traits, the attributes, the fitting, maybe the requirements, nobody's reading this. Why is this being displayed here? Why aren't the traits shown? And maybe even, let's say, like high slot, mid slot, low slot. Why are like 3-4 extra steps involved? Why do I have to do this if I want to compare or have a quick comparison? And now here, oh, I hate this. See, when I click on the catalyst now, it changes the right window, not the left window. I would have to open a new window with shift click to have both of them open, and attributes, and close the old one. These are like multiple extra steps which are completely unnecessary thanks to the new changes. Yes, progress. No, it's regressive. And this is where what I call game design fails. Because it's not solving a problem, it's creating a problem. And then maybe giving you a hint of how to circumnavigate the problem you artificially created. So there you have it. Yeah? Because a lot of the times, I mean, the graphics are nice. It's like you look at the new ship like, wow, this is amazing. But again, when I'm probing, I'm not looking at the ship. I don't care about the ship. I don't care about the graphics. I care about how quick I can probe things down. Yeah, make sure not to forget my my probes here. So the other thing is the D-scanner. I just use it a little bit. I get sick because I cannot distinguish if I'm looking away or towards me now. I know that you only can see this when it's supposed to be towards you, but here I get totally confused because there's no longer a distinction between what is away from you and what is close to you. This is like I'm getting sick looking at this all the time. Of course, people are not using it this way. People are using it. I mean, for a lot of people, this is of course an improvement when they have it like this. Okay, I need to close my eye because here they can parallel look at this, but I always have to go. I can't even say if this is up or down. Okay, it's front. It's towards me, so I have to. This one is away from me, right? Yeah. This is making me sick, and I'm using D-scan not in this fashion, really. I mean, there are people who are using it this way, and they're welcome to do it, and for them it's probably a great improvement. For me, it's completely unnecessary. I wish I had, and again, why is this here now? Why isn't this in my lower right corner? Well, I know you can change it. There's a thing, where you can adjust it. But these are things that I find unnecessary. I'd rather have the old feature, at least as an option, or at least maybe if you want to roll it out, just have the. You have the feature to somewhat disable the look here of this thing. I can't be bothered now. You can disable it and just use the D-scan as you used to, but I think like a lot of things like are just like not important. I mean, the D-scan, okay, I'm just babbling now. The D-scan, okay, for those who need it for activated, sure, go ahead, it's fine. But the planetary view and the star map have both gotten worse. The new D-scan might really work well for people who use it this way with the cone and just the direction. I find it sickening. Hopefully this will be adjusted a bit. Like the warp jump animation has been, it looked good, it got me sick after 2 times, they changed it, it's great. That was nice, thank you. But the probe window, no, really fix it. I will not getting used to it. I will not get used to it. This is ridiculous. Every time I will use it, I will be reminded of how good it was and how bad it is. I will always go back to like, no, this can be improved. This is fucking annoying. I mean, here now it's not much, but sometimes when you have like when I go into systems that I rarely visited and I have like two menus full with scrolling up and down, and only half of them are just like, you can order them, of course, yes, but I order them by certain names or by certain groups. So I have a stripe here, and at a quick glance you cannot decipher which one is meant, because it's just a thin line between some text, and the focus is on the text, and you just like, is it above the line, is it below the line, is it between the line, what is it? It's like, give me full bars. This is bad. Yeah, and the bottoms. Get them away from the bottom here. Put them at least one higher and have just some other menu underneath. The Windows bar came up, and have this in line here. And yeah, this could have all been done way better. This looks just thrown together and just like, yeah, I didn't know where to put it. It's just like, yeah, put it here, put it there. Like maybe we have it here. Maybe this is good here. I don't know how it is when it's on the top. Reconnect. Is here, launch or analyze is here. Why is this not all in line here? Why is the analyze not in the first here? Why is there a launch button when the launch button is already here? I want to reload. So and these things. Why is this like in 4 corners on the window? So wherever you put the window, one is always at the edge somewhere, unless you have it in the center. And who's doing that? So wherever you have it, maybe here, I could make it maybe a bit smaller here, or something like this, have it here, and then I might, but I still would go for analyze here, because it's the closest. This is here. There you have the function. If you have it here, the function would be here, but then you're too close to closing the window. So that would be ineffective to have the closed window next to some important buttons. So there are a lot of things that don't make sense. So I mean, you call yourself designers. You're being paid to do this job. Do it right. Put some more thought into this than just like, I mean, you probably did, but they weren't good. Somebody in the chain of command or whatever failed to say no. Somebody should have been there in quality control and said like, no, sorry, do it again. Get me a new draft. This is not good. Stop with this bro shoulder clapping and like, yeah, great work. Like, no, it's not. I'm getting tired of this. So yeah, this is really just ending up like a rant. I'm really sorry about this. But it's like, 15 minutes to server downtime and losing this forever. So I'm just gonna switch over to the other one, and yeah. Probe down my last thing there. So let's stuck up here. Well, yeah, I'm really sorry about this. This is really hasty and just confusing. Maybe I can cut this together a little bit better. At least I have a little bit of footage here. Maybe I do a new audio overlay or something, because just talking too much rubbish here. But yeah, I'm just annoyed, and mostly I'm annoyed at me because I haven't spent the last year in the forum and like discussing it, and I haven't been making this video like I should have a while ago. So I'm angry at me most of all that not having been involved. But then again, I have my own work. I have my own things to do. I come here for entertainment and some some fun. I love that the community is helping and taking part in the development, but none of us is being paid for it or compensated because we have to sacrifice, the last bit of time that we have. I actually just skip work now the last 3 hours just to make this. Yeah. So my work is going to pile up. And we're not even talking about cutting the video and making it visible to people that actually look at it. No, it's probably not any good anyway. But it's just like, this is the point where like, somehow the burden is put on the player. It's like, oh, you could have said something, or you could have done something, or you didn't vote for the right CSM. I love all of this community stuff that it's possible, but it still doesn't absolve you from being competent yourself. I mean, like I said, it's like we usually don't complain about the things that work out fine, that go well. And that doesn't mean that we don't appreciate it. We do. I do a lot. This is why I want to give things back to the community and back to everybody else. But I don't do this usually through forum warring. I do this through in-game events and other stuff where I like to share in. But So the few times I actually have an issue and it gets me agitated. Because I feel like it is on me. It's the same like an argument I had with my mother yesterday. It's like, why is there so much shit happening in the world? Why are people so retarded in their behavior? And it always comes back to because we didn't say anything. It's like when I encounter somebody during the day and I see they're doing something really stupid, really dangerous. Why am I not interfering? And by not interfering, is it my fault that this person stays that way, gets reinforced by stupid behavior and thinks that that's actually good, and then goes on and teaches others and is a role model for somebody else, has kids, and it's just like, so the fucked up world of tomorrow, is that actually my fault because I didn't say anything? But then again, all this pressure is to put on you to say like, you can't say that, you have to be nice, you have to be social, you can't just go in and tell somebody like, hey, you're doing it wrong, you hurt their feelings, or you make yourself an outcast, or you make yourself the enemy by doing this. Yes, you do. And this is like the social dynamic that, by not saying anything, it's my fault. And by saying something, I become the villain. So what do you do? And I mean, in some cases like this, hopefully this has been looked at and people say like, yeah, okay, there's criticism and we should listen to it. At least listen to it and evaluate if it's true or false, if it's right or wrong, if it has an impact or not. But this like always yes saying or castrating yourself and censoring yourself and like, I can't say anything, it's not polite, it's like not my place, not my business. But then complaining about something happening tomorrow because you created the world of tomorrow by not fixing it today. So is it my fault? And this is why I have the feeling the burden is put on me or by myself. Of course, it's just perception, that I look at myself like I should have said something. I could have done something. Maybe I could have written a good enough post, and a developer would have noticed it and changed it like a year ago, and it would have never come this far. And everybody would be happy. People would have, or the other people who think it's great now would have even noticed that it was better than it is now. So yeah, I mean, this is maybe just a few who are annoyed. Maybe it's just me alone. But it's just like still address the argument. Why do you think having extra steps is more effective than it was before? Why do you think that having more load due to performance than it was before? Why do you think that these multiple zooms and graphic enhancements are more important than map effectiveness and navigation. So yeah, have this argument. Make your case. Just say like, okay, yeah, we did this because this is actually more important than that. And then we can say like, okay, maybe you're right, maybe you're not, or maybe you can see like, oh, yeah, you're right, we lost effectiveness, but we thought it was a small price to pay. Yeah, really? How small was it? So yeah, and over the year, probing every day, you're losing a few seconds here and there per minute. How many hours does this end up a year for things that were unnecessary? How much is it? Like the average person spends like 6 months in her life just removing trash from the mailbox? Yeah, exactly. That's what we need. More useless, unnecessary steps. Yeah. So yeah, of course, I'm just like, I can also just spin and hanger and say like, yeah, well, right, you didn't do anything effective there. Yeah, of course, of course, of course. Perspective. Yeah. So yeah, that's from me today. 10 minutes. Let's have a salute. Goodbye to the old probing window. I hope we can resurrect you, or at least fix the new one, so that the star map and the solar map are going to be as good as the old one. So that's the hope. I mean, there's nothing permanently ruined. It still can be changed, and I hope it will. That somebody will recognize that the good changes are not good changes, and that maybe some of the old features, and even if it's just like the transparent grading is a bit adjusted for the red bubbles, and then maybe we can still drag the old spheres for the launches, for the probes, and such things which probably can be easily fixed. Me not being a programmer saying that, but because the features were there, it works similar. Some of it might just be some numbers adjusting, but let's hope that we can still address this, like getting a full color bar instead of this little stripe. Easy, small steps. Okay, so that's me. I have to go to work now. Have fun, fly safe. Yeah, check out Big Games Lottery. Again, disclaimer, no longer lottery, just a giveaway. Every second Monday, in-game channel, Big Games. We had the 14th anniversary yesterday. We had a lot of nice prizes, up to I think 50 billion or something. You check it out. See you there. Bye. And since it's past downtime now and everything has calmed down a bit, let's end on another note and look at something pretty. There you go. Isn't that nice? Who knew that the Astera would come in a purple skin? See you next time. Bye.